All right, it's just in time, and let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our second session today, or let's say to our second try. Some of you maybe have been already during the first session, which was scheduled in November 26th. We have faced some technical issues, and that's why we re-going through the whole session today. So once again, welcome from our side, and thank you very much for your time. It's great to have you all here. And we're looking forward to having a great webcast today. Some organizational information, as you can see here, this webcast will be recorded, um, but your personal information will not be visible in the recording. Your microphones and your cameras are turned off already. We want to avoid disruptions and some noise, and also provide the best quality possible. And we do have a chat box where you can implement your questions. And after the presentations, we have a little window in order to cover those questions. My name is Georgios. I'm that guy here. And I'm a global account manager here at AUVESY. I have been with the company for more than 1.5 years and taking care of the OEM business as well as the food and beverage industry. Um, Together with my colleague, we will guide you through today's webcast and introduce our library management tool. My colleague is here, the handsome guy on the left-hand side. His name is Dirk. Dirk, would you like to give a quick introduction?
Okay, my name is Dirk Tilker. In the automation business since 13 years. And the last 5 years, I'm dealing here with this connection between automation on the shop floor and IT technology, which is in the last year called Industry 4.0. And today here with AUVESY, we are exactly in the session, and I'm happy to show you something what you can do with our new library management for tier portal.
Thank you very much, Dirk. Let's have a look to some of the topics we prepared for today's meeting. Well, first of all, I would like to highlight some use cases for the versiondog library management, of course, and show you how you would benefit directly from that technology. Then have a look on the editors supported within versiondog version 8.1. That's the latest version of versiondog, as well as give you a little insight and a deeper dive in the user interface of the library management client. The webcast here you see as the last point, we also have a live demonstration. I think that's the most important part. The webcast is divided in two parts. So I will have a small PowerPoint, and then my colleague Dirk will take over and give you a demonstration of the typical workflow within the versiondog client, the library management client. All right, let's take some very simple everyday scenarios, right? Detect and identify the project status. So many customers are already using libraries for standard program blocks, right? According to audits, quality management, et cetera, those standardization processes are all included. And specifically for program blocks, the idea is actually to develop all the standard program blocks in these specific libraries, right? Rather than, outside of the libraries. That's what you want to avoid. But how can you detect and identify that this process has been followed? And how can you recognize if there are differences between the program running on the machine and your standard libraries, right? So this is the part where versiondog can help you bring more clarity by using a very, very simple traffic light system. We will see this later on. It's just red light, green light, and amber light. And that gives you a signal and the status of the projects, right? So another scenario could be, and this is that part, is that you as a manufacturer, you're leveraging external suppliers, right? Either for engineering or optimization, whatever it is. How can you ensure that your supplier has been following your standard processes, meaning that they didn't develop outside your libraries, or they didn't develop standard program blocks outside the libraries. Well, first of all, as a user of versiondog, you can always provide your supplier the specific project, and once you get it back, you can always implement it into your versiondog structure, right? But by using the library management and using that traffic light system, you're not only able to see the differences and the modification of your suppliers, but you also recognize if those program blocks modified were outside of the library or if they followed the standard process. Another scenario could be, and that's the commissioning phase. If, let's say, you as an OEM are on customer side during a commissioning phase and you optimize some really crucial standard program blocks during that phase, and that modification somehow increases the overall efficiency. So now you would like to provide those program blocks also to other customers who are using that type of machine you're providing, right? So how can you know who else from your customer portfolio is using exactly those program blocks? Well, here once again, with the library management client, you're able to assign the specific projects, meaning also the machines on customer side, to dedicated libraries. And that gives you an exact overview of your customers who are using that machine with those specific data blocks, right? So let's have a look how working with libraries look like. In the first step, it looks quite easy, right? So you have libraries, standard blocks in those libraries, and then you add some customized program blocks, and that leads you to a project which basically reflects a machine, as you can see also here, right? Well, it's simple in the first step, but the reality looks quite different, right? Because what's happening in the reality is that you have multiple libraries, right? So you see you have library 1, library 2, library 3. And you have multiple projects. Again, projects reflecting machines, right? But also what you have is that you have further developed libraries. You see you're here on library 2 on version 1, and further developed, you're here in version 2. And on top of that, all the libraries are assigned to different projects. So you can imagine that things are getting quite complicated in real life, especially if there are many libraries in use, and different questions and challenges are coming up. For instance, where is that library used? And what version of that library is used in my specific project? Is that library maybe modified by accident, or was there an optimization on customer side? Which project of them needs an update? So I'm sure that many of you are quite familiar with that situation, and let's have a look how the library management can help you to overcome those challenges. Okay. So today with versiondog version 8.0, again, that's the latest version of today, we are supporting the following editors: the SIMATIC STEP7 with the following program blocks you see here, the RSLogix 5000, which is basically embedded in the Studio 5000, and also the TIA portal, again, with the program blocks you see here below. Okay. The interface, for those of you who are already familiar with versiondog, so the interface seems probably quite familiar. So you have on the left-hand side, you have your structure with all the directories. And here, and this is where the interesting parts is coming. Let me go to my next slide because I zoomed in a little bit more. So on the left-hand side, you have your project tree. So nothing changed for you. That's just a reflection of the versiondog server. You see the libraries and the specific projects, and you assign them. And then on the right-hand side, there was this traffic light system with green, amber, red. And just that gives you just the overview that green means you are on the current version, the program block, everything is fine. Yellow means outdated. So probably the program block was further developed in the library, but it's not included in that specific project. In this case, it would be project 1. Or you're getting a red light, which that is the one you want to avoid, because red light means that somebody made modifications or further development in a standard program block outside the library, right? And again, that's the one to avoid. Also, you see more detailed informations about your libraries below. It's like the results in the interface. That was already the first part, because I think now we're getting to the more interesting part, because everything you saw on the PowerPoint slides, now you will see live in the versiondog library management. And here I would like to hand over to my colleague Dirk, who will give the demonstration.
Okay, thank you, Jorgo. I'm now going to share here my screen, and I'm showing here on my virtual machine the demonstration environment. I think you can see this right now.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. So, and the use cases Jorgo mentioned in his slides, I like now to present this here live with versiondog. And first case, let's assume building a project. You are a programmer and building a project for a customer, and you are using one library to make your life easier. So therefore, I now will start here versiondog. And I have here prepared a small scenario. There are some of your colleagues who have here developed some libraries. Here's a LAMP library 1, a feeder library 2, and a hardware library 3. And there are always some of your colleagues have been busy and have already built up some customer-specific projects. And now you are here, and let's build up a new project, and there will do a new component. Let me call this project F or project E. I'm sure you're having a different strategy how to name your projects. This is the way I'm doing it. And today we are talking about Siemens, so tier portal. So I will select here tier portal to create this component. So the project is empty. Oh, no, it isn't. Here's a project in. Let me place this just that we have a clear one. And I have here prepared another one, which is definitely empty. And I will just copy it here and put it to my project E. Paste it here. And as I said, this is an empty basic project, and we now want to use a library. And now you have to tell versiondog which library should be connected to this project. And then you go here on Edit Component Configuration, and using this button here below, that means assign standard libraries. And today we want to use here this LAMP library. We are copying this here. You can also use multiple libraries, but now we want to use here this one library. Okay, say apply. And now versiondog knows that this project E is connected here with this library 1. So then let's start the engineering process by opening the editor. And let's do some work that versiondog has to detect something, and that versiondog can administrate here this libraries, and that you get an impression what this functionality can do for you. And here this project is empty. There are no blocks in. And the nice thing of library is, let me open here the library lamp. And the nice thing is that you can directly drag and drop this blocks to your project. So engineering work is easier for us. And let's here also take another type here. It's master copier types. versiondog can handling both. And let's assume we are ready now. Compiling here the software. Saving our project, so it was really a fast engineering process. Closing tier portal, and then let's create here the base version. So now here's checked in, local version, it's equal to the version on the server. And now we have worked here on our versiondog client, which is administrating your projects and your libraries. And now this new functionality is done here with this library management. When you're opening it, you have to type in your password. And then this library management is then showing you here the use case we have seen there. And when we click on project E, you can see then this green light, which Jörg was talking about. And this green light means there are 4 blocks used in the project E, coming from the library 1, the SLAMP library 1. And you can see then also the blocks which are used there. This was this alarm block, a blinking block, a status, a data block, and a lamp type function block. And if you click down here, you can see even some more details where this is located. So everything is in green. So if you're happy, you are using an actional function block, which coming from a library your colleagues have developed, and everything is fine. So then let's assume the second use case. And this is when the department who is responsible for the libraries are going to work on this library blocks. Say, oh, we have a nice idea. We want to add something. We want to add new functionality. And now we are changing the use case. And now we are in the library development department. I have here prepared an editor. I call this here development department for libraries. And then we're going now to open here this library, this famous LAMP library. And as we want to modify it, we have here now opening this read-write access. And then let's assume here we are working on the SLAM type block. This is a type, and therefore I have here to release it here. And let's assume we need here an additional input. Let's call this here in 2. And let's assume this is all we want to change there. And this is now a tier portal. And then we can use here this lamp tab. First of all, I have to delete the old one here and to put the new block in. Save this library and close this library. So as you can see here, versiondog has already recognized that someone has worked on the library. And therefore your colleague is a nice colleague and here following the processes, creating here a new version of the library, and finding that here is something inserted, and we are checking this in and have now here the version 10 of this LAMP library. So the work is done. Let's go back here to the library manager, and now let's see what's happening here. And I'm just actualizing here the library management by pressing the key F5. And now versiondog is detecting that in your project E, there's one block is outdated. And this is exactly the LAMP type. And now, you know, okay, in this customer project, there's now a new functionality of this library available, and you know exactly in which projects are current functionalities available, or in which customer projects is an outdated function block running. And following the use cases Jorgo mentioned before, this can be the case that you have here more performance features added or some nice handling features added, and then you can go to your customer, say, okay, do you like to have an update there? You will get this and this and this, and you exactly know whom to address. Or if you're in the situation of a bug fixing, you also can say, okay, dear customer, it's recommended to use this function block, and you're only addressing the customers who have project where this function block is present. So, and let's go then to the next use case. And therefore I'm switching back here to the project E. And the next use case, we are going to modify in a customer project a function block which is coming out of a library. We are now here, we are the project engineer doing this customer project. So take a while to open this editor. And now we are going here to edit this one here, and let's say we are adding here a new row, and this, let's call the status word night, because maybe you're on a customer project said, hey, the customer is requesting you here an additional value which he likes to store. Let's compile it. Save the project, customer closing the editor. Now your one customer is running this project, he is happy. And you are creating the new version so that you always have the latest project which is on customer side also on your server. And say here, happy customer. Let's check this in. And so your customer now is happy. And then let's go here to the library manager. And let's see what's happening if I'm now updating here this by pressing the function key F5. And now you see that versiondog is detecting that in your project E, there's an invalid function block. And this is this red light, which Jordi mentioned before in his slides. And here you get immediately an indication, okay, someone has changed your, let's say, blocks from the standard from your library. And this normally should not happen because then you are losing really the overview. And therefore, versiondog is showing this in red because then you will lose or the control about your libraries if each and every one is changing the blocks coming out of this library. And if you are now likes to know who is using your libraries, you see here in the project E, B, A, C, D, there is this block used, they are current, and they hear a lot of outdated stuff. And you exactly know where this is used. And you see also the invalid ones. And I've here done some presentations already. And so here's in this project D and A, there are invalid a function block. And you can see also here this gray circle where a function block, which originally he was named night, was removed. Also, this can be detected by versiondog. And you can put here filters on it. So as you can see, okay, this is invalid. You have to talk, for instance, to your colleagues. Hey, if you're doing here a project, please don't modify libraries coming out. Please don't modify function blocks coming out of a library. Or you can say, here's the outdated one. This is the use case. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Where you can say, okay, here you have to address the customers who needs, let's say, an update for several reasons. Or you can also do, let's look here as in product C if there's something wrong. So you have here additional views giving you really, really quick overview about what's going on with your projects. So hopefully this shows here very quickly to you, get an impression how versiondog works, and hopefully this also shows that versiondog is really doing as promised by Jorgo before in his slides.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think this was a great overview about the library management tool, and actually pretty simple by just using the traffic light. I think even for me as a sales guy, it's quite easy to understand what's outdated and what's not valid. We have a couple of questions. I'm not sure if we can respond them all directly or if we need to cover up afterwards. Let me go very briefly through it. One question is that if it's possible to assign tier projects not only to tier libraries, but also to assign that tier projects to other projects. Again, I'm not sure if we can respond right away or if we need additional information from the participant, but that would be a question. And also to assign tier libraries with other tier libraries. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. So the question, can we assign tier projects also to other tier projects, or can we also assign tier libraries to other tier libraries?
Okay, a good question. As a first question is, of course, you can build out of project libraries, different libraries, and assign them to different projects. And the other one is I really have to test this if we also are able to cascade libraries.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done this, so I can't answer this right now.
Yeah, I think this seems like that could be an interesting discussion afterwards, because I see that from the same participant, there are also some comments and also additional questions like, so the customer obviously was waiting quite a while for getting the specific add-on for tier libraries. And now the question is, if all the modifications or all the libraries he assigned or he created without the tool, without the add-on, if he now needs to go manually through every library and project and assign it, or if there is another process to do. I think also this could be interesting for a discussion afterwards. Yeah, just to make you aware to the participant, we will connect and address all those questions and comments to you. Are there other questions which I might have overlooked? Yeah, you're welcome. Maybe to my colleagues, did I overlook to a question maybe, Victor? Okay, let me see. There is another question. Okay, so is it possible to start a library from a project if a library does not already exist?
Yes, but this is linked to a tier portal. You can do this. You can, out of a project, create a new library and save this library. Like I have done this here now with 2 editors. Mm-hmm. And I was only doing this to save some time to start up and to close tier portal. Yes, this is possible. You have to save this library. I've seen always on the right side of tier portal, on the right place where versiondog can detect it, and that's all. I just was doing this to save a little time.
Ah, okay. So you did this in advance while you're prepared.
This is editor is open there, and
okay, great. So
this one I'm still sharing my screen, right?
Yeah, we can still see your screen.
And this is I had this open here because it's faster than starting and closing tier portal.
Mm-hmm. Great. So another question, what does the button free scan means? Dirk, can you hear me?
Sorry, I haven't clicked on it.
Yeah, because you didn't click at all, so it was updated automatically, I think.
Yeah, the free scan button, it probably just you can select a folder or component and it will scan the library and all the projects and compare all the blocks to each other and creates a list of linked and current outdated blocks.
Yeah, with the button free scan, it could be possible that we can improve the situation from the second question if you have existing components and libraries. With the free scan, as Victor told us, we scan all the objects from the projects and the libraries, and compare it with different timestamps and so on to see which object is in the project itself and in the library. That we will get the list which we see now in the library management.
Okay. Great. We have a couple more minutes, so if you are still interested or having questions, just go ahead. Otherwise, just again, since this session is recorded, we're going to provide it afterwards and upload it to our YouTube channel. And of course, sometimes it takes quite a time, when other questions are coming up. So don't worry, just get in touch with us, and we will cover those questions also afterwards. All right, I think we have most of the questions covered. We are almost in time, so if there are no questions so far, I would close the session. Very warm thank you to all of you, to the participants, also to the presenters, and thank you for the great demonstration, Dirk. I think it was a great overview and introduction to our library management. I assume that most of the participants are versiondog users anyways, because some questions are really versiondog related. Looking forward to have also contact and discussions afterwards with all of you. So thank you very much, and have a good time and have a good day. Goodbye.
Also from my side, goodbye. Thanks for listening.